What's up, you? We had a crazy, crazy day today. It was nuts. Um, we came down to the property, as you can see, and man, this fire's doing one. I gotta back up. Leg hair off. Okay, so we came down here. We brought gather around, children. Yeah. We brought the plate compactor. I just finished doing a video filming it for that. We brought the hot saw. We didn't even use that. I brought the little track bike that we got, and my grandpa brought a antique boat motor, a 3-horse antique 2-stroke boat motor, and we put her on old baby Blue right there, and we went out. Okay, so which story should I tell first? The dirt bike one or the boat one? The dirt bike one. Okay. So me and my son, we hop on the dirt bike. We're cruising around here, you know, just putting around here. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's go check out the 30 acres. So I drive down the driveway, hop on the road, and then hop back onto our property. It's about, I don't know, half a mile down the road that way. And we're going through everything. Me and my son, we go and we check out the old A-frame that my grandpa built with my cousin Jean and my aunt and my mom. That was like 10 years ago. Probably 15 years ago, probably. So I showed my son that. It's the first time he's ever seen that, I think. And then I went back out to the main trail, looped around, and came down to where the swamp was. And it didn't look that deep, right? And I'm like, hey, man, you think we should ride through the swamp? Hey, Brian, come here real quick. You remember when we were riding the motorcycle? Yeah?
Over there.
And what'd we do?
We just went over there to the swamp.
Uh-huh. And? What'd we do?
We just got splashed.
We got splashed. Daddy drove through the swamp, huh? Yeah. He didn't even get a drop of water on him. My shoes were like soaking wet. They were just dripping. They were drenched. Huh? Yeah.
But on my shirt, it was wet.
Oh, your shirt was a little wet? Yeah. What is that in your hand?
This is an arrow.
Oh, it's an arrow. Does Grandpa teach you how to shoot a bow and arrow?
Yeah.
We have it's like a mini bike. It's a Coleman. It's a Coleman bike. And, what, you want to look over my shoulder? I'm going to put you on the screen. Oh, thank you. So anyways, my feet were just totally soaked. And then I was just running the compactor, doing my video, and then finally Grandpa got here. He was out shopping with Grandma. And he showed up with the motor, and I had him buy a fuel line, a spark plug, and some gas for the motor. And so we put the new fuel line on. I can actually walk over there and show you. It was super fun. You're wearing your favorite shirt? I hope your favorite shirt is the blue and orange one.
Right?
So, this is the motor right here. My grandpa brought over. This is an antique, basically. It doesn't even have like a real pull start. It's got... Where'd it go? There's a... Where is it? There's got to be a string somewhere. I know we didn't lose it. Oh, there it is. Right down here. here's the pull string. Right? So this thing is so old. It's a Ellen. It's a relic. Yeah. This thing is, I don't know what year this thing is from, but my grandpa had this in his shed, and he's like, it's a 3-horse, man. This thing has plenty of power to get through the current, you know, at the sound. I'm like, sweet, you know. Here, I'll just start it for you guys real quick so you guys can see what it's like. It fires right up. It's a 2-stroke, you know, so we love 2-strokes over here. Oh, it's probably a little cold. Let's do it one more time. This time I'll put the choke on. Trying to do this one-handed is kind of tricky. See the little arrow on that shaft? Okay, let's put the choke on. Choke's right there. Okay. So there you go. That's the boat motor right there. 2-stroke. So we're like, yeah, let's go boating, right? Because me and Grandpa got it going, right? So let me just close this up. This is the vent on the top so the fuel can get sucked in. So we put this new spark plug in, right? It's only in finger tight. I didn't really tighten it in. We changed the spark plug. We changed this fuel line right here because it was leaking. Can't have it up like that. It starts dripping. Because it's missing the air filter. So we're like, yeah, let's go to the ocean. You know, let's go to the sound. So and I videoed this most of the way, right? I did a video, so you guys are going to see the video. It's pretty sweet. I'm just going to tell you the story, though, but you guys are going to want to see the video, the actual footage of it. So we go launch the boat, no problems. We're, you know, we're basically heading out there, you know, having fun, just me and my wife. Nobody else was there. I left the kids here with Grandpa and Grandma, and we're just going out. We see this cave, and we're like, oh, let's go see this cave. There's a few shirts available, Kevin, in the plus sizes, like 3X and 4X, I think, or like small or medium, maybe. So we see this cave. We're like, oh, let's go over there. So we go over this cave, and then we're like, oh, let's go down further, you know, because this motor was doing fine. It was pushing us pretty good, you know. We were going probably 4 or 5 miles an hour, I want to say, and we get to the point where like, you know what? I don't know how much fuel we got, you know. So I pop it open. I'm like, yeah, we're doing all right, and we're like, well, let's go further, you know. So we're like, okay, we go further. And then we get into this section where, like, I literally felt the current pulling us. And I'm like, oh, man, yeah, we're getting some speed now. We're going like 8 miles an hour. You know, I didn't even think nothing of it. So we're cruising down this channel, right? 8, 9 miles an hour. And then we get out, and there's this big open area, right? And it kind of, there's an island to the right, and it kind of has a big curve, right? They're saying hi, Grandpa. Hi. And so we get out there, and then we're like, you know what? Let's turn around. It's getting late. We said we were only gonna be gone for like an hour, 2 hours.
Hour and a half.
Yeah. And so we turn around, right? We turn around this way, right? And we're trying to go back, and we're just like not moving at all. It just, I couldn't see if we were moving. I'm like, let's get closer to the shore. We get closer to the shore on this side, right? And we were moving for a little bit, and then we got to a point where the current was so strong, we were literally going backwards. Like, and this was, I was like, not good. Like, this is our horsepower right here. This is what we got. We're going backwards. And so I'm trying to get close to the shore, right? Because I'm thinking, okay, the more shallower water, the less the current, you know? And we got within like 10, 15 feet, as close as we could possibly get without hitting the bottom, basically. And we were still going backwards. And so I'm like, okay, we need to go to the other side of this, go to the other island. So we start heading over to the other island. We're literally pointing like forward, but we're literally going backwards like this to the other side. Like, so we lost probably 200 feet backwards, the opposite direction we were trying to go, right? We finally got over to the other side, and because the island had this big curve, right? So we hugged that shoreline, and we were able to make it all the way up to the bend, right? We get to the bend, and we're still trying to hug the island, and we get around to the corner, and immediately the current hits us, and we're just, boom. It's going so fast. We literally are losing ground again. And I'm like, oh no, man, this sucks. So this is where I'm like, okay, time to think out of the box. Like, okay, time to put both motors in the water, right? So I put this trolley motor in too, right? So we had both motors going, and we were still not making any ground. I'm like, okay, here's our only option. We'll go back to the other side, and maybe the current won't be as strong at that point as it was at the other section. So we start crossing, we're losing ground, we get to the other side, we're good. We can still go forward. So we're going forward, probably another half a mile. We finally get up there, and then there's another bend, right, that curves around. We get around the corner, and we get up to about these logs, right? There's some trees, and we're fighting the current so hard. Like, I'm trying to get as close to the shore as possible so we can actually go forward without hitting. And all of a sudden, the trolling motor, it sticks down a lot further when it's all the way down than the other motor. It hit something, scared the daylights out of me and Kinsey. And what happened is, you know, this little red thing right here? Oh, I'll show you. There's a little red button here.
You have to go around.
Yeah. So anyways, it hit something, and it popped up like this and was splashing water everywhere. And yeah, there's a little red thing that locks it into place. But anyways, it popped out and popped up and was splashing water everywhere. And then so we fixed that. We got back out. We were still fighting the current. And we're like, okay, let's switch sides one more time, right? So we start heading the other way because we're like a half a mile away from the public boat launch. Like, I would say probably half a mile to a mile, somewhere in there.
Water's deceiving.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like, I'm not a fisherman or nothing, you know, so I really don't know. But we're like, okay, let's go to the other side. And this is where it gets really wide, right? So I'm thinking, okay, the current shouldn't be as strong out here. So we start going the other way. And then we see this big kind of like a clam boat or whatever. And we're like, hey!
Oyster boat.
No, it wasn't oysters. They were little small shells.
Okay. Yeah.
It wasn't oyster shells. They were like little clams or something. They were about this big.
Yeah.
They were round.
They have beds out there.
It wasn't oysters. I know what an oyster shell looks like.
Okay.
But anyways, we wave him down, and he comes over, and we're like, hey, man, can you just tug us up to the public boat launch? He's like, yeah. And by that point, my GoPro was dead. But I did get a little bit of video on my phone. So that's definitely going to be in the video. So look forward to that, guys. That's going to be a fun video to make. But it was insane, guys. It was just nuts. Like, and at the end, this motor sounded like it was kind of starting to miss a little bit, you know, but it could have been, maybe it was just heating up, or the spark plug, you know, wasn't on all the way tight. Could have been sucking air a little bit. I mean, it was still running great though. Still good power.
Yeah, for sitting 30 years.
Yeah, not bad for sitting 30 years. And I'm not a professional at tuning this motor either. Like me and Grandpa, like so right here. Here. Oh yeah, you can't lift it up when it's like that. 1 second, let's do this. Okay, lift it up.
Yeah.
Okay, now set it down. Okay, this right here is like to lean the fuel out or something. It's some sort of
Needle valve like.
yeah, some sort of valve to tune something. Anyways, this thing vibrates so much, you know, this thing almost adjusts on its own half the time.
Goes where it wants to be.
Yeah, it goes where it wants to be. So it might have been this just came out of adjustment. That's why it was maybe missing a little bit. This is the brand right there. Elgin. AELGIN.
Did you ever check to see how much gas?
Model 571. Somebody look this up and see how old this is. It's a 2-stroke. It's got to be ancient. Yeah, it's old. She's old.
It still had an inch of water, fuel left.
Inch of fuel. Well, I added fuel.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we were going. Probably about the second time we went over, I'm like, honey, I don't know how much fuel's left in here. Maybe we should add some fuel while we're going. And we literally didn't even stop. I was like, honey, like,
That's why you carry
make
the fire
sure
extinguisher.
the thing doesn't move when I'm pouring gas in here. And I'm over here pouring gas while we're going down, while we're 2-stroke fuel, while we're going down the channel or whatever. It was just nuts. It was nuts, guys. War era by the looks of it. Yeah, somebody look it up. It's a Elgin.
It's a 3-horse.
ELGIN, model number 571. Looks like. We weren't at the river. We were at Arcadia Point. It's the Sound, apparently. So my grandpa calls it the Sound.
In one of the inlets to Shelton.
But yeah,
I wouldn't have time to tell them my story.
I'm a fat, braver man than me. Dude, no, it's not, and it has nothing to do about bravery, man. It has to do about
Survival.
being naive and thinking everything's gonna be okay, and survival and being a MacGyver. I mean, that's exactly what it comes down to. My finger over. Oh, it's almost over the microphone. But yeah, it was just nuts, guys. I was like, it was insane. It was just
my
insane.
experience was with a borrowed boat.
Uh-huh.
A borrowed motor from a different person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's basically what I was doing. I took this. I had never even seen this thing run before. Like, we started it and ran it for what? A minute?
A few minutes, yeah.
A minute or a few minutes. And then I'm like, okay, let's go to the Sound. Like, I got paddles and I got the trolling motor. We'll be fine. That's what I was thinking.
Well,
I had no idea the current could be that strong. 1948, Grandpa. That's from 1948.
I don't doubt that. My experience was I tied the boat up and went hunting.
That's 3 years younger than you. That's
I was
73 years old. 73 years
pretty
old?
good for a little motor.
73 years old. Holy smokes.
I took
It's a 48 to 52. Holy cow. I can't believe I just put my life in the hand of a motor, a 2-stroke motor, that old.
and it probably had a lot of miles on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at it. Look how worn out this thing looks. I mean, this thing... I wonder if it has a bad throttle position sensor.
The computer's sticking.
Yeah. This is the throttle right here. We had it pegged on full throttle the whole time. And you could slow it down to about here.
After that, it'll die.
After that, it'll die. But, yeah, man, this thing, it was a blast. I would say this is a lake motor, not an ocean motor.
I tied my friend's boat up to the shore.
Uh-huh.
And then went hunting.
Uh-huh.
Long Island, Willapa Bay.
Uh-huh.
West Coast,
Yeah.
and I came back and the boat was not there.
The boat wasn't there when you
No,
came back?
the rope was there, but the boat was not there.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, because this is an island, 7 mile long island, and you got about 200 yards to walk or swim to the other shore.
Oh, man.
And so I says, which way is the wind blowing?
Yeah.
So I started walking the direction the wind was blowing. Luckily, about 100 yards up, the boat was stuck with the motor down in the dirt.
Oh, man.
And the tide had gone out.
Yeah.
It could have been out in the ocean.
Yeah. Dang, you got lucky.
Borrowed motor, borrowed boat.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Did you tell your friend?
yeah, I did.
What'd he say?
He was happy I returned it. Another trip with that same boat, I had to row it to shore because the pin on the propeller sheared.
Oh, no.
No spare pin for the propeller. The motor is useless.
Yeah.
Rowing.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it's fun getting out there and having an experience that you remember.
Yeah, I've never heard that story before.
Yeah.
So you were out hunting?
Yeah, on Willapa Bay, I was archery hunting.
Archery hunting.
Yeah, it's archery only. Can't carry firearms there.
Uh-huh.
And you can go bear hunting there or deer hunting there.
Uh-huh.
And when I discovered that I couldn't go any further because my pin had sheared, I decided I was going to row the boat to shore, the main shore, and walk back.
Uh-huh.
And so I did, but I left my bow and arrow in the boat.
Uh-oh.
And I hadn't gone 200 yards, and there stood a nice buck looking at me.
Oh, man.
I pretended like I was going to throw my knife at it, and he just stood there and looked at me.
Yeah.
So I got back to the ranger station. He came down and towed my boat back.
Dang.
I know those experiences. They're fun as long as you can come back and tell them.
Yeah. That's crazy, Grandpa.
Yeah.
You know,
Experience.
and
How do I tell you?
yeah. Yeah, you never know until it happens, you know.
You go up against the tide. When you go out, you find out which way the tide's flowing, you go against it.
Yeah.
And your odds are you're going to be able to get back.
Yeah.
Of course, the wind can do a mighty change of heart. Well,
This is, I'm going to catch up on the comments. It says, bet Grandpa has some awesome stories. Evening, looks like it was sold through Sears. Everything was sold through Sears back then. Get Grandpa. Yeah. I can't believe you went in the chuck with that. I knew you were my kind of people. That's why I say you're a brave bro. Yeah, that's crazy.
I think I had a 16 horse on Spanaway Lake.
My grandpa told me the first time he saw a horseless carriage in Tennessee, the whole community came to see it. Yeah, that's nuts. That's crazy.
That's the way it was when I drove that old motor home across country.
Yeah? Oh, really?
Yeah, people would just see that thing.
Really? The motorhome?
Yeah, they had never seen a motorhome in the back countries.
Wow.
And this was an old motorhome, about 8.
Oh, this ain't the Winnipeg.
It's the one that's parked down here on the property.
Oh, it is that
Yeah.
one. Dang. We've lived so long. We got so many stories to tell. It's just crazy. What is that noise?
Kids?
Oh, that's this.
Oh,
The trailer.
squeaking.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's the trailer. It's this.
Suspension.
Yeah. This trailer, me and Grandpa made this.
You want to tell me how it started?
Yeah, Grandpa had this. This started as a motor home right here.
Trailer. Camper trailer.
Camper trailer. Started as a camper trailer. And Grandpa rebuilt it. He demolished it. And
one of the neighbors demolished it.
oh, the neighbor demolished
Yeah,
it?
he ran into it.
They ran into it.
Totaled the trailer.
That's this one?
Yeah, it's this one.
Oh.
They ran into it, left a 3-inch curl in the carpet in the center.
Wow. So somebody ran into it, demolished it, and then Grandpa turned it into basically this exact same thing, except for it had wood floors. Plywood floors and aluminum
all kinds of
bed framing. And it was all bolted together, and it had lasted, what, 10 years?
10 years. And then the plywood started rotting.
Then the plywood was rotten, and then Grandpa was gonna rebuild it with plywood, and I'm like, no, Grandpa. He's like just kept patching it, and I'm like, Grandpa, one of these days you're gonna let somebody borrow it. Somebody's gonna step through the floor and sue you to death.
That somebody stepped through the floor one time.
Yeah, multiple people did. I stepped through it probably once.
Yeah, it'll hold a car.
Yeah.
Just to watch where you walk.
Yeah, and so anyways, Grandpa decided he wanted to buy the metal, and we built it together, and then we painted it. And we did that back in the 5th month of 2017. So that's 17, 18, 19, 20. That's 3 years old. Still doing good. We haul wood on it now, firewood.
Got a little lock pin here.
It's got a pin.
With a little button. So it has to be the right size hole or it won't come out.
Yep. You can see the sides are maybe a little bowed in. That's the tailgate.
This thing good makes a small ramp. But I've got some bigger ones now.
A ramp.
Aluminum ones.
And it's got these little lips right here. So the ramps just hook right onto it.
Between it. And then this here pins it. Pins it so it can't come up.
Yep. Yeah, Ron, this is my property. This is where our home is gonna be.
You want to show him where your teepee was?
Yeah, I suppose I could show him where that was. All right, let's walk this way. Obviously, you can see our tent right there, and then our little porta potty right there. So the garage, 2-car garage, is going to be right about there, and then the house is just going to be this way, right? And then we got our driveway coming up this way. Here's the big rock, the 20,000-pound rock that I pulled out with the 120 out of where our foundation was going to go. The dozer won't even push that. My TD7C won't even push it. The excavator will move it. It'll roll it or slide it barely. So there's where our house is going to go. Then we got the big rock. I'm going to cut into it. It's going to say VANDUYN on it somewhere. Probably right there. And then right here, we have the lower loop. Right? This is just a big loop. It goes down, turns around, and comes back out this way. Yeah, Mac Daddy, there's no way I could drag it that far. It would take me a week to get it up to the front. We got a massive culvert here. We have, when it rains, there's like a stream that comes through here when it rains for like a week straight. We'll have a creek flowing right through there. This will all be full of water. And then this over here is going to be a pond over here. That's going to be a pond, hopefully. And then we got our driveway coming in. We just roughed this in, basically. We put down some 3-inch minus. Basically, it's crushed rock.
It's 7 o'clock. We're going to get rolling.
Okay.
We'll see you later.
All right. Love you, Grandpa. All right. So up here where this tarp is, you can see this blue tarp. This was my first campsite on this property. Probably 20 years ago. You can see that blue tarp right there. That is a trucker's tarp. Really thick. And we had a teepee right there made out of it. And we also, when I was in Boy Scouts, we also had, I learned how to do lashings and stuff. And we had a loft. it was about 5 feet in the air, and it was in between a few trees right here. And you can still see the rope coming out of this tree. Right? So that's where the loft used to be attached. It was attached between that tree and 4 other trees that were here, but they died and got knocked over. Right? So now we got the 120 over here. We just got some stuff that I hauled out for somebody and just dumped it right here. We're gonna burn it in the wintertime when things are a little bit wetter. So I was working on this turnaround with the plate whacker. That video's coming out. You can see we did pretty good. I smoothed it out with the dozer and then plate whacked it, so it's pretty compacted. There's my grandpa's backhoe. And then there's our little dirt bike right there. That's the one I was telling you about. That one right there. So you can see it's pretty compact. So this is our turnaround. So the trucks will come in and turn around this way. Right? And then they'll loop back out that way. Pretty neat. We need to rock this side still. We haven't done any rock on that side yet. So there's the dozer. This is my grandpa's backhoe. Me and grandpa are gonna come down tomorrow, and we're gonna disconnect the hoe. And we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna disconnect this hoe right here and just leave it, because what happens is it leaks so much hydraulic fluid that this thing is always dragging. We have it chained up, but it's still, it gets this thing stuck so often, you know. So we're gonna take that off, and there's a concrete counterweight somewhere over here. We're gonna tie it. We're gonna put it on there. It was made for it apparently, so we're gonna see how it works. I can't wait to see the backhoe without that actually attached. We should be able to get into a lot tighter of places, I'm thinking, and be able to pull a lot more with it, because you know, that back part probably weighs a good 3,000, 4,000 pounds, I would think. And it's getting kind of dangerous, I would say. This whole pin right here, as you can see, it's almost gonna break off, right? It's like cracked all the way up to there. So it's got like, what, an inch holding this cylinder on, and it's cracked on both sides. So funny story about this Case 530. My grandpa bought it for $1,500. It's got a crack in the block. Still fires right up. Fires right up. My grandpa put this sealant in there. It's that antifreeze stuff. You put it in antifreeze, but it still leaks out. So one day I'm gonna weld that up. So one day we'll put some work on this thing and get it looking pretty again. Maybe. Look at this thing, man. This thing has just been you know, farmers, man, they beat this stuff to death. You know, I mean, my grandpa uses this every year for loading firewood. Look at the hoses on this thing. My grandpa put that grate there. It didn't have one when he bought it. He didn't want the radiator getting poked with sticks and stuff. Need some new hoses. Dang. Need to take off. Awesome live stream, Brian. Enjoy the stories. You and your family have a great one, buddy. Yeah, you too, man. Thanks for stopping in. Always enjoy having you on. we'll probably hop on tomorrow. We'll probably do a live stream tomorrow. Me and my grandpa will be down here. Or I might just do a video of us disconnectedness. That would be pretty cool. What do you guys think? Live stream or video? Probably just do a video. It'd be easier. That way I can actually help him unconnect it. My grandpa built a hay trailer with an old fifth wheel camper. Yeah. The older generation, man, they invented so much stuff. Like, they didn't have choices, right? So they just did it, right? They just made it happen. And, you know, that's what I love about the older generation. Any news on the Super Dump? Still at the manufacturer, and no time frame on when it's going to be done. That dozer makes me happy. That thing freaking rocks. That thing freaking pushes. I need to get new track pads for it, but that thing pushes so good. Glad I bought that. That was like a $9,000 dozer. I put $700 into that track, and it's well worth it. With the amount of work I've done down here, it's paid for itself. Like, if I would have had to rented something or paid somebody, there's no way. There's no way I would have been able to do half the stuff I've done down here. Ron, I got 10 acres here. 10 acres in my name. And then there's another 30-acre parcel that's in mine and my family's name. So, my grandpa gave us all 40 acres. There was a 40 acres total, 2 parcels, 30 into 10. And I talked my cousin into selling his portion to me, his 5 acres. And look at there. That's got to be old. And I bought his section, and so I convinced the family to just say, okay, give me the 10-acre parcel, and you know, that's the rest is history, basically. Grandpa's taking off. Anyways, we got to get going too. It's getting late. I got to fill up the old dump truck. My driver's going out tomorrow in it. I got him working in the old dump truck until we get the new one back up. So I got work for it tomorrow and all next week. It's already booked all week, all next week. And I got another guy who's like, hey man, if you get a spare day, you know, let me know. See how easy that was? Oh shoot. Okay, I gotta let you guys go. I gotta call my grandpa. Bye.